Shri Mahaganapate Namaha, Shripadarajam Sharanam Prapade, Shrirastu, Shubhamastu, Avignamastu, Sampurna Shripad Shrivallabh Charithramrutam, Chapter 2. Shankar Bhatt had darshan of Sri Sidda Yogindra. I, Shankar Bhatt, continued my journey, recollecting in the mind the strange experiences I had in Marathamalai and chanting the divine name of Shripad Shrivallabh. I visited many sacred places on the way. I used to get food without asking anybody. It was an unprecedented experience. When I reached the Kadambavanam in Pandya Kingdom, I felt that my weight was becoming more and more lighter. There was a Shivalinga in that area which had tremendous power. After I had darshan of Lord Ishwar, my legs started becoming weighty. I stayed in that Shiva temple for some time and again started walking. I saw an ashram nearby. In that there was a Mahatma by name Siddhendra Yogi. After I paid obeisance to his feet, my body became lighter than a cotton seed. I had the knowledge that I was in the body, but my body weight was felt almost zero. That Mahaguru, with a graceful heart, put his hand on my head and blessed, saying, "May you have darshan of Sripada Shrivallabha." The greatest among yogis told me, "My dear Shankar Bhatt, the Shivalingam you saw was most powerful. Once Devendra defeated many demons, Rakshasas, but one demon escaped, ran away, and started doing penance. But Indra killed the demon who was in tapas mercilessly. As the effect of that bad deed, Devendra became lusterless. To wash off his sin, he visited many sacred places. When he came near Kadambavanam in Pandya kingdom, he noticed that the sin suddenly left him. He was surprised. He thought that there must be some greatness in that place. Started searching and found the Shivalingam. Indra worshipped it with devotion and built a temple for that self-manifested Swayambhu Shivalingam. Hence it is Indra installed Shivalingam. That Shivalingam removes all sins and is very auspicious. Only people with special merit will be able to see it. But the devotees of Lord Sri Datta will have the opportunity of meeting sacred people and visiting sacred places without any effort. I again paid obeisance to the lotus feet of Sri Sidda Yogindra. He told me to go and have darshan of Shivalingam again. When I went to that place again, I saw an extremely beautiful Shiva temple, but it was not the temple I visited earlier. When I inquired there, I learned that it was the temple of Meenakshi Sundareshwar and that it was the city of Mathura. I had darshan of the deities and went to the ashram of Sri Sidda Yogindra, but I saw that the whole area was a town inhabited by a large number of people. I could not find the ashram of Sri Sidda Yogindra even after a long search. I started going in one direction, chanting the name of Sripada Shrivallabha. It became dusk and was becoming dark. I noticed that a ray of light was coming from behind me. When I looked back, I saw a three-headed snake coming behind me. There were three gems on its head. The light was coming from those gems. I became nervous. If I stopped, that divine serpent was also stopping. The divine name of Sripad Shrivallabh was coming from the depth of my heart without effort. Similarly, Shripada's divine name was being chanted from my mouth involuntarily. At last, I reached the ashram of Sri Sidda Yogindra. Immediately, that divine serpent and the light also disappeared. Sri Sidda Yogindra received me with extreme grace. He gave me hot fried chana, Bengal gram seeds, on a banana leaf as prasad. I ate them to my full satisfaction. Even while I was eating, the palpitation of my heart did not come down. Sri Siddha Yogindra stroked the right side of my chest lovingly. Later, he did the same on the left side. Then he touched my head with his divine hand. I noticed that the palpitation was coming down. I felt that some evil air was going out from my lungs. I felt that bad thoughts and evil tendencies were leaving my body through the breath. My body felt hot and sedated. Shripada's Mahima, greatness, and the qualifications required to earn the grace of Sripada. The Sri Siddha Yogindra said, Shankar Bhatt, the Shivalingam you saw before and Sundareshwar you saw later are not different. According to the wishes of Sri Dattatreya, you were granted this type of experience. That means the time was put back and the Shivalingam installed by Devendra and its surroundings at that time were shown to you. To think this creation you see as a creation is Maya. Everything is of dynamic nature, Chaitanyam. By mere wish of Sri Datta Prabhu, the future can become present and the present can become past. The past may appear as present. The Chaitanyam of Sri Datta Prabhu is perpetual present. The thing that happened before, that is happening now, the things that are going to happen in future, all happen according to his wish. Only the wish of Sri Datta Prabhu is important for a thing to happen, not to happen, or to happen in a different new way. The Mahasankalpam, the wish of the Supreme Being, in which the creation, protection, and annihilation are happening, is the nature of Sri Dattatreya. The same Lord Dattatreya manifested himself with a human body as Sripada Shrivallabha on this earth. The people of Sri Pitikapuram did not recognize him properly. They failed in comprehending the Guru Tattvam. In Kurvapuram, illiterate people like the fishermen got the knowledge of Brahman. To get the grace of Sripada Shrivallabha, the ego in us should die. All types of egos must become weak. Then only we will be able to understand his power, his grace, and his real nature. One businessman by name Dhananjaya noticed the Shivalingam installed by Devendra and informed Kulashekara Pandya, who was the ruler of the kingdom. On the orders of Lord Shiva, Kulashekara Pandya developed it, built a city there and named it Madhuranagaram. His son Malayadwaja Pandya did Putra Kameshti Yajnam for having children. A 3-year-old female baby emerged out of Yagnakundam. She was Meenakshi Devi. She married Sundareshwar. The river Vegavati, which originates from Shiva's Jatajutam hair, is making the Madhuranagaram more sacred. Sri Mahavishnu himself did Kanyadanam and performed the divine marriage of Meenakshi and Sundareshwar with splendor. Sri Sidda Yogindra said again, My dear Shankar Bhatt, from each article in this creation, vibrations develop. There are wide varieties of these vibrations, and under their influence, attractions and repulsions keep happening with other articles. In the gross, subtle, and casual bodies, sacred vibrations emanate due to sacred acts, and sinful vibrations emanate due to sinful acts. Because of the speciality of sacred acts, meetings with sacred people, visits to sacred places, and interest in doing sacred acts happen. Thus, merit keeps developing. Only if such a merit grows to heights and the sin gets destroyed, one gets stable devotion towards Sri Datta Prabhu. As a consequence of time, fate, and the wish of the Lord, different types of incidents keep happening. Dhananjaya, the businessman who gave information to Kulashekara Pandya about the Devendra installed Shivalingam, acquired great merit. As a consequence of that merit, he was born as Kusumashreshti, the king of Brihatsila Nagaram, Penugunda, and got Jaganmata as his daughter. Virupaksha, with the Amsa of Nadishwar, was born to Kusumashreshti couple as the brother of Ambika. Sri Datta Prabhu kept one Amcha part of him in Virupaksha. According to the word given by her, Ambika, who was born in Brihatsila Nagaram, got the name Vasavi. Only Jnanis know that Sri Vasavi Kanika Parameshwari was Ambika herself, and Sripada Shrivallabha, the embodied Dattatreya, was Sriman Narayana himself. On the full moon day in the month of Ravana, Ambika will tie Raksha Bandhan to Sripada Shrivallabha. This is a divine secret. It is not to be revealed to ordinary people. Even then, I revealed it to you on the order of Srivallabha. On that day, if anyone has darshan of the deities in the temples of Ambika or in Datta Kshetras, he will get the fruit of special merit. Shiva and Keshava are not different. If anyone sees them differently, they will get the fruit of sin. On the day of Ekadashi, all sins will be tagged onto Annam, rice food. If one fasts on that day and gives food to a good Brahmin on the next day, that is Dwadashi, one gets high merit. He gets the highest merit if he fasts on Dwadashi day also and then gives food. Along with getting married, his sins also get destroyed. If one fasts on Ekadashi, gives food to a suitable Brahmin, and also takes food himself, he will get average fruit. He will get married, but his sins will not be destroyed. If one fasts on Ekadashi day and takes food himself on Dwadashi without giving food to a suitable Brahmin, he will get the lowest fruit. He will have minimum merit only. Sin will not be destroyed. In what way can I describe the speciality of the fruit of my merit? I question Sri Siddhendra Yogi like this. Mahaprabhu, what was the reason for Ambika to take the name Vasavi? Whom did she give this promise and became Vasavi Kannika Parameshwari like this? Please show grace on me and reveal to me. Sri Siddha Yogindra smiled to my prayer. He said, my dear, I realize that you have a great interest in listening to words related to jnana. There is a restriction that divine secrets should be revealed only to those who are inquisitive, qualified, and suitable. We should not reveal these to unsuitable people, argumentative people, and atheists. Blaming divine secrets and divine place becomes the reason for acquiring sin. Sriman Narayana has another name, Upendra. Once Indra asked Sriman Narayana, Swami, because you have the name Upendra, you have become my brother. In that case, Ambika also should become my sister. She should also have a name which reminds my name also. Sriman Narayana smiled and said, Yes, your argument has a good reason. You put this question to Ambika herself. Time was running. Gods killed demons and became arrogant. The time had come to destroy their pride. Ambika took the form of Yaksha. When Vayudeva reached there, the Yaksha put a small grass blade there and asked him to move it. Vayudeva could not move it. Similarly, Agni, the fire god, could not burn it. In this way, the gods became humiliated. But Devendra could recognize that it was not Yaksha, but the Paratattvam itself. Because Devendra could recognize the Paratattvam, he became great. So he got the name of Indra. That Paratattvam took the form of Ambika. Indra praised her with many stotras. Pleased with that, Ambika gave a boon to Indra that she would manifest herself in Kaliyugam in Brihatsila Nagaram and take the name of Vasavi, which would remind his name Vasava. In accordance with that boon, she manifested as Vasavi Kanyaka Parameshwari. My dear, every small incident happens in accordance with time, effect of karma, and a reason. Divine plays cannot be predicted, they cannot be comprehended. Before Sriman Narayana took birth as Sri Krishna to Devaki and Vasudeva, Ambika manifested as Yogamaya. When Kamsa tried to kill her, she took a divine shape in the sky. In Sri Krishna avatar, the Prabhu could not get the affection of maternal uncles, but he will get that affection in the avatar of Shripad Shrivallabh. If anybody worships Srivallabha thinking that he is his child, Sripad Shrivallabh will be moving in his house as a small child incognito. If somebody worships Vasavi Kanika Parameshwari thinking that she is their child and show affectionate devotion, she will be moving as divine child in their house incognito. Sadhakas having pure hearts will hear the sound of her anklets melodiously. This is the absolute truth in Kali Yuga. There should not be any doubt. Now you take rest. Always remember the name of Sripad Shrivallabh. The sins acquired in many births will be burnt out. You could come here because of the endless grace of Sripad Shrivallabh on you. He blessed me. Because I was tired, I slept deeply. Surprised for my good fortune, I decided not to leave the auspicious feet of Srivallabha. I was very much eager in my mind to reach Kurvapuram quickly. The next day when I woke up, I was surprised because I was lying on a high hillock under an ashwatha tree, fig tree. There was no movement of people nearby. I had a doubt in my mind whether it was an illusion what all I saw in Sri Siddha Yogindra ashramam in the night. I also had a doubt whether Sri Siddha Yogindra was a trickster, a daksha, or a sorcerer. The words spoken by Sri Siddha Yogindra about Sri Dattaprabhu were reverberating in my ears. I also wondered what would Sripada Shrivallabha gain by putting me in this troublesome state. Many different ideas and doubts were moving in my mind. I took my belongings and continued my journey. My journey continued from morning till afternoon. There I saw a village having small houses. I became hungry. I am a Brahmin. I cannot eat anywhere except in the house of a Brahmin. I thought that if somebody gave groceries for preparing food, I would cook them and eat. I asked the village people whether there were any Brahmins in their village. One of them said, "Sir, we are tribal people. I am the head for this hamlet. There is no Brahmin in our village. If you do not have any objection, you can take fruits and honey from us." I thought that it was not wrong to accept any food offered in the middle of journey. They brought fruits and honey available in hilly areas and put them in front of me. When I was about to eat, one crow came from somewhere and started poking my head. I tried to drive it away but failed. Meanwhile, some more crows came and started poking on my body everywhere. Frightened, I started running. They were following me. There was none among the village people to help me. The village head, who talked to me before, said, "Oh, what a strange thing! The crows in our area will not harm anybody. We are very much surprised to see them in their frightful form and harming you. You might have blamed or insulted any Siddha Purusha. You are getting this punishment due to his curse. If we stop them, we may also have to face that Rishi's ire. So we don't try to change the course of divine play. Don't think otherwise." And he kept quiet. I could not take these fruits or the honey offered to me. My whole body was smeared with blood. Even when I was running, the crows chased and tortured me. I felt extreme sorrow for my ill fate. Did Sri Sidda Yogindra curse me because I doubted him? But he blessed me that I would have the fortune of having darshan of Shripad Shrivallabh. I may not get the darshan of Dattaprabhu until all the sins in my previous births are destroyed. How much more sinful karma am I carrying? How many punishments should I undergo to annihilate all of them? Oh, so many troubles and calamities are embedded in the blessing that I will have darshan of Srivallabha. Oh God, how many more punishments will you give me? Who will save me now? Sripada, Srivallabha, I surrender at your feet. Thinking so, I walked slowly and reached the shade of a medi tree, Ficus glomerata, Audumbar tree. I thought that the tree, being the place of residence of Dattaprabhu, would save me. But the Datta's Leela was quite contrary. Some odor started emanating from my body. Attracted by this odor, or by the adversity of fate, big poisonous snakes started coming to me, one after the other, and were going after biting me. Previously, I was tortured by crows. Now my body was all becoming poisonous due to the snake bites. Froth was coming from my mouth. My heart became weak. I thought that it was certain that I would die at any moment. It was evening. Some washermen were going by that way. After washing clothes and drying, they made bundles and put them on donkeys and were going. They noticed my miserable situation and hesitated initially for some time, noticing that I was a Brahmin and doubting whether they could touch me. But because I would die if delayed, they thought that it was more important to save my life. They put me on a donkey and took me to their village. On that day, all adverse incidents were happening throughout. The washerman took me to the place where leather makers lived. One of those leather makers knew the art of curing snake poisoning cases. They put me on a cot in that place filled with bad odor. The leather worker physician took the extract of some forest plants and made me drink it. He tied leaves on places where the snakes bit me. He plucked some leaves from a fig tree. White juice like milk was pouring from those leaves. The stems of those leaves were inserted into my both ears. I felt extreme pain. I tried to get up and run away. Two hefty people held me firmly. I was helpless. The physician told his assistants, "The poison will enter the fig leaves. After that, the poison filled leaves should be burnt. The more poison enters the fig leaves, the more loudly will he cry. Hold him firmly." After some time, the poison was broken. I stayed in the leather worker's house throughout the night. The leather worker was chanting Datta Digambara, Datta Digambara, Shripad Vallabha Datta Digambara throughout the night. I was lying on a cot. My heart bloomed on hearing that most melodious name. As this leather man was a guru relative, because of soul relation, I developed love towards him. The next moment, I felt sorrow because I was born in a higher Brahmin family and he was a leatherman. Leatherman's teaching to Shankar Bhatt. After finishing the melodious chanting, the leatherman came to me. Nectar of grace was overflowing from his eyes. His eyes looked as if he had realized self. I guessed in my mind that he could be a yogi. He looked at me and said, Sir, my name is Vallabhadas. I am a leatherman and I belong to the fifth caste. There is no doubt, but I want to tell you certain things. I know that you are Shankar Bhatt and you are going for darshan of Shripad Shrivallabh. I also know why you were tortured by crows and snakes. I was stunned. I thought that he might have acquired some scholarship in astrology also. Immediately Vallabhadas said, Sir, I am not even an astrologer. Sri Pitikapuram is the birthplace for scholars. It is the sacred place where Malladi Bapanna Vadanulu, who was famous as Sangha Vedartha Samrat, lived. The Paratattvam, the supreme Brahman, whom the Vedas got tired describing, was born as Sripada Shrivallabha in that sacred place. Dry Vedanta and meaningless arguments will not give us the grace of Sripada Shrivallabha. One need to be a scholar to get the grace of Sripada Shrivallabha. Moreover, the ego of scholarship will throw us far away from him. The crows which attacked you were great pandits who lived in Pitikapuram in their previous births. They wasted their lives not able to recognize the divinity of Srivallabha and could not receive him as Dattaprabhu. They could chant Vedas from bottom to top in reverse direction. But what is the use? They used to express their ego using words like Kramam, Gana, Jata, and Swadhyaya. After dying, they went to heaven. Indra praised them immensely. Oh, you are Kramanta, you are Ganapati, and you are Jati. Oh, you are an expert in Tarka. What a great fortune! How many hundreds of thousands of times had you chanted Vedas? A great merit, great merit. With the effect of that great merit, you could come to Indraloka. Thus he immersed them in praises. All others in Indraloka also praised them a lot, but they suffered from hunger. They had heard previously that one could get Amrit in heaven, and if one drank it, there would not be any hunger or thirst. Nobody bothered about their plight. So they directly asked Devendra. Devendra gave answer like this. Vedas are the form of inhalation and exhalation of Prabhu. Prabhu is endless and has no death. So Vedas are also endless. Vedas are the basis for all dharmas. By doing Veda Patanam, chanting, you praise Prabhu. As the reward for it, we the gods are praising you so much. Otherwise, how is it possible for you to be praised by me? If someone wants food, he should have given food to others before. If someone donates one grain to somebody, we the gods make it into 1,000 grains and give to the donor as the fruit of that act. When you had not given any donation, what can we give you? Because you have chanted the Vedas, you achieved endless merit. So you can stay here freely as long as Indraloka exists. Later you can go to another Loka, world. You can be free like this endlessly. After hearing Indra, they were perturbed. They thought that it was an unbearable punishment living here endlessly with hunger and without food. Indra again said, Though you lived in the sacred Padagaya Kshetram, you did the funeral rites to your departed ancestors without concentration and devotion. You were always thinking of how much money was spent on the ceremonies and how much tasty were the eatables you were eating, but did not do them with devotion and concentration. So your ancestors did not get higher states. Your descendants are also doing the same thing. Our parents lived long. Oh, how much food was wasted unnecessary. How much money was wasted for their medical treatment. You had children thinking in those lines. When Sriman Narayana himself manifested among you in the form of Sripada Shrivallabha and was showing the way out, you shouted at him. You did unnecessary arguments. Even though the auspicious qualities of Bhagavan like omniscience, omnipresence, and omnipotence were clearly seen in Sripada Shrivallabha, you could not recognize it and became blind. After you drink the blood of a person sanctified by chanting the sacred name of Sripada Shrivallabha, you will get higher states. It was decided for you to be in the form of crows, the symbol of ancestor gods till then. Shankar Bhatt, for that reason, they were born as crows and drank your blood as a consequence of their previous merit and got salvation. Then I recognized that Vallabha Das standing in front of me was not an ordinary man, and the grace of Sripad Shrivallabh was there on him fully. Srivallabha Das said, Sir, attracted by the smell coming from your body, the serpents bit you and then got salvation. I said, Sir Vallabha Das Mahashay, why did that incident has to happen? It'll be very troublesome to me if my body is used as food by crows and serpents like this. I am afraid when and which animal attacks me. Vallabhadas said, Sir, all this is Sri Vallabha's fun-filled play. You need not worry. From now, you will not be troubled like this. Only the one who gives life has the authority to take life. So such authority is vested with Bhagavan and none else. But some of your ancestors did Kalika sadhana in graves and killed many people whom they disliked with the effect of the power of their mantras. Thus they acquired great sin by being the cause of untimely death of some people. As a consequence of that sin, they were born as serpents. Because you were born in their descendants' family, your blood is related to them also to some extent. Because you received the grace of Sripada, they also got a little merit, and as a result of that, this incident happened and they got salvation. Sir, a Brahmin has to be a seeker of truth. Kshatriya should be bound to Kshatriya Dharma. Vyasa should do agriculture, protection of cows and things like buying and selling. So he has to be a peaceful person. A Shudra should be a loving person and do service. But to acquire the grace of Bhagwan, there is no difference like race, caste, rich and poor. A Brahmin can follow Kshatriya Dharma and become a king. A Kshatriya, while seeking Brahmajnanam, may follow Brahmin Dharma. Kusuma Shreshti, a Vyasa, followed Kshatriya Dharma and ruled the kingdom. To kill an enemy is an offense according to Brahmin Dharma, but according to Kshatriya Dharma, it is a must. You are a Brahmin, a seeker of truth. So ahimsa, not to kill, is your Paramadharma, supreme righteousness, but not for a Kasai, a killer of animals. So, to have the right fruit for the actions of a man, one should perform actions in accordance with the dharma he is following, in whatever caste one is born. Because you were ill, it was better to be with the physician. That was why you were brought here. You should know that Sripad Shrivallabh will be watching us every moment. In childhood, while reading the Dhyana Shlokam of Sri Vishnu Murti, you used to make fun of it while explaining its meaning to other boys. Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye. You used to tell the wrong meaning for that shloka to others for fun. Shuklam Bharadaram means wearing white clothes. Vishnum means present everywhere. Shashivarnam means having ash color. Chaturbhujam means having four legs. Prasannavadanam means when it cries, it has a graceful face. And to remove all obstacles, I am meditating on such donkey. Sir Shankar Bhatt, Sri Datta Prabhu is very clever. He will correct all the misdeeds done by you for fun in his presence. The washerman brought you to me on a donkey. Then you were in ash color with dust all over your body. Not able to walk properly, sometimes you came walking with both hands touching the ground like a four-legged animal. You came to the Medi tree to escape attack by serpents. Still you could not escape. When you were trembling with suffering, you had a graceful face. Lastly, you were brought to the place of leather people. By putting you in such trouble, Sripad Shrivallabh, along with having fun, taught you a lesson, and your ancestors were saved from mean births. You used to tell the meaning of Vishnu Dhyana Shlokam to other boys for fun. So at the end, you came to a state of being taught by a person like me who belonged to the fifth caste. Now you are here. Tomorrow you may be in the house of your own caste people. If you tell these incidents to them, even by mistake, they will outcast you from your caste. With that friendly teaching by Sri Vallabhadas, my Brahmin ego had come down. The feeling that Vallabhadas belonged to fifth caste vanished. and I developed a brotherly affection towards him, like a blood relation. After taking Vallabhda's hospitality for 3 days, I started from that village. How can I describe the speciality of Srivallabha's grace? Before reaching Chidambaram, I got entangled in a town named Vichitrapuram, literally meaning strange town, in strange circumstances, and got out of it strangely. When I was going along Vichitrapuram walking, king's servants respectfully reached me and questioned, Sir, are you a Vaishnava or a Shaiva? I said, We are Smartas, who do not see any difference between Shiva and Keshava, but still we lean a little towards Shaivam. Sri Shankaracharya of Sringeri Peetam, the southern Peetam of Adi Shankara, is our Guru. They respectfully asked me to come to their king. I followed them for Rajadarshan. On the way, while talking to them, I came to know certain strange things. In those days, if any Brahmin was spotted, the king used to invite him and ask, If this much is for that, how much will be for this? No one was able to answer that question satisfactorily. Few years back, the king got a yagna performed for the purpose of having children. Fortunately, he had a male child. From then onwards, trouble started for the Brahmins. Unfortunately, the son of the king became dumb. The king opined that only because the Brahmins did yajna improperly, the child became dumb. So he got the Shaiva Brahmins tonsured and got Vaishnava marks applied on their face and got them move along the streets on donkeys. Similarly, he got Vaishnava Brahmins tonsured and got Vibhuti lines applied on face and moved them on donkeys in the streets. That situation was troublesome for both Vaishnavas and Shaivas. The king started behaving strangely all of a sudden. He would call Brahmins and donate totakura to them. He ordered that totakura, a green leafy vegetable, amaranthus, should be grown as the majority crop in the fields. He was collecting half of the tax in the form of totakura. Cartloads of totakura was being stored in the fort. He used to give totakura as danam, donation, to Brahmins, more than what they could eat. The Brahmins were prohibited to cook rice and other preparations for eating. They should eat cooked totakura only, and when they wanted to eat tiffin, they were asked to eat totakura only, either raw or cooked. What could Brahmins do? They used to be arrogant, declaring that they were Pandits in Tarkam, argument, Vedantam, Puranas, and Itihas. Now they all left their ego and silently were praying God to remove their troubles. Among those Brahmins, there was a Datta devotee. He said that Sri Dattatreya would be pleased with mere smarana, thinking in mind about him, and he only would remove their troubles. So all the Brahmins took 40-day Diksha, spiritual discipline, and started worshipping Sri Dattatreya. The king thought that dumb speech should be promoted because his son was dumb. He called the Rajaguru and told him to write a book on dumb language. The Rajaguru was very proud previously. Now he was in a miserable condition and started elaborate research on dumb language. The talk between Shankara Bhatt and the king. I was made to stand in front of the king. I was sweating. I wondered what test Sripada Shrivallabh was putting me into. I was repeating the name of Sripada continuously in my mind. I suddenly became bold as never before. The king asked me what he asked all others. If this much is for that, how much will be for this? I replied seriously, Only this much will be for this. The king was stunned and said, Mahatma, you are very great. I am blessed by the fortune of your darshan. Recently, the knowledge of my previous birth dawned on me. In the previous birth, I was a poor Brahmin. I used to grow totakura in my house. I would give that to people whenever asked without saying no. The Brahmins who took totakura from me were wealthier than me and were not having dearth of food and water. They took donation from me but never cooperated with me. They did not show mercy on me. When they sent me for performing ceremonies and marriages, good amount of money used to come in the form of dakshina and sambhavana, Brahmin money. They used to give me only 1% of it and keep the rest for themselves. I used to work and they used to take the fruit of it. Moreover, they would take totakura from my house freely. In spite of my utter poverty, I would donate totakura as usual. They used to tell me that the totakura was tasty and there was no harm if I ate it. Time passed. Because I donated totakura in my previous birth, though I was in utter poverty, I am now born as a king in this birth. The Brahmins who took the donation of Thutakura in previous birth are now born again as Brahmins in my kingdom. Because I became a king due to donation of a little Thutakura, what would be the highest result now that I am donating many cartloads of it? So I put this question. You only could answer it correctly. Then I said, O king, in the circumstances of your previous birth, the Thotakura you donated was very valuable, but in the present circumstances, when you are the king, its value is negligible. You are now in a position to donate precious stones, diamonds, and gold. If you donate any amount of Thotakura, you may get 100 times that amount and nothing else. The king was very much pleased with my words. My mind was consoled when the king told about his previous birth in response to my casual answer. I thought that I escaped riding a donkey by the special grace Sri Charana showed on me. As a punishment to my childhood fun, when I told the wrong meaning to the sacred shlokam, Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnu, I climbed a donkey before. I offered pranams to Sripada in my mind for granting escape from climbing donkey again in an insulting situation. Next, second test started. It was in the dumb language, which was very dear to the king. The Rajaguru started questioning. Rajaguru showed his fingers and asked one or two. With signs, I said that I came alone. Then he showed three fingers. The number three reminded me of Sri Dattatreya. I thought he was asking whether I was a Datta devotee. I thought that devotion should be a secret thing. I closed my fist, indicating that it was a secret thing and a matter to be confined to the inner heart. Then the Rajaguru tried to give sweet eatables, urging me with signs to accept it. I declined and took out some flattered rice tied in my cloth and offered some to them. My aim was that I liked flattered rice more than the sweetmeats and they could also taste them. Then Rajaguru, in a genius voice, said, King, this man is a great Pandit. It seems that he thoroughly studied Vedas and Vedangas. He is also a great Pandit in dumb language. Everything was confusing to me. Then Rajaguru told the king, King, I asked him, there are Shiva and Keshava. Are they one or different? Showing one finger, he indicated that they were one. I showed three fingers, indicating that there were Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. For that, he closed his fist, indicating a question that, though there are five fingers in the hand, are not working together? I tried to give sweets, asking him to accept me as his disciple. He declined my offer and gave some flattered rice to me, indicating that he did not want to take the trouble of having disciples and such problems. And he was a happy person living simply like Kuchela. I was stunned. Oh, I was surprised to know how different were the minds in this world and their ways of thinking and the ways they understand the things. Then started the third test. The Rajaguru read the stanzas in the Rudra Chamakam and asked me to explain their meaning. Thinking of Srivallabha, I explained as I understood. Ekachame means one. Tisrashchame means adding 1 to 3. We get 4 and its square root is 2. Panchachame means adding 5 to 4. We get 9 and its root value is 3. Saptachame means adding 7 to 9. We get 16 and its square root is 4. Navachame means adding 9 to 16. We get 25 and its square root is 5. Ekadasha Chame means adding 11 to 25. We get 36. Its square root is 6. Trayodasha Chame means adding 13 to 36. We get 49. Its square root is 7. Panchadashachame means adding 15 to 49. We get 64 and its square root is 8. Saptadashachame means adding 17 to 64. We get 81 and its square root is 9. Navadashachame means adding 19 to 81. We get 100 and its square root is 10. Ekavigam Satiha Chame means adding 21 to 100. We get 121 and its square root is 11. Trayovigam Satiha Chame means adding 23 to 121. We get 144 and its square root is 12. Panchavigam Satiha Chame means adding 25 to 144. We get 169 and its square root is 13. Saptavigam Satiha Chame means adding 27 to 169. We get 196. Its square root is 14. Navavigam Satya Chame means adding 29 to 196. We get 225 and square root is 15. Ekatrigam Satiha Chame means adding 31 to 225, we get 256 and its square root is 16. Trayotrigam Satiha Chame means adding 33 to 256, we get 289 and its square root is 17. Panchatrigam Satiha Chame means adding 35 to 289, we get 324 and its square root is 18. Saptatrigam Satish Chame means adding 37 to 324, we get 361 and its root value is 19. Navatrigam Satiha Chame means adding 39 to 361, we get 400 and its root value is 20. My explanation pleased the Pandits in the Darbar very much. I myself was surprised at my explanation. Again, I said, all this is the secret of infinitesimal particles of matter in the creation. This is known to Kannada Maharshi. Depending on the number of the infinitesimal particles, different elements are formed. Thus, by the special grace of Sripada Shrivallabha, I could get out of Vichitrapuram, strange town, strangely. End of chapter 2. Victory to Sripada Shrivallabha.